Hey, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to make a little quick video as an update to a very strange change that has happened that FTDNA has done to a sample, a fossil, Pekin 1165, as you can see on the screen there. I had made a big fuss before about this particular sample because these samples were found in Upper Galilee, in ossuaries, uh, and they were dated to be 4500 BCE. That is 6,500 years ago, right? And here in the screenshot that you're looking at in front of you is a screenshot of the video that I had previously done, and I'm going to put a link to that particular video in the description. This was 2 years ago, as you could see here. I did that video 2 years ago, and this what at that time was an update that they had made uh, because they had compared that particular fossil to new information, to new information of new customers, right? And so new branches had been discovered, and they have the human Y chromosome tree with mutations that are plotted on this tree that are dated, right? And so this is a contradiction. This was a contradiction at the time because they have, as you could see the timeline, you got 10,000 years, 5,000 years, 2,500 years, pardon me, BCE. And this is a contradiction because that fossil is supposed to be 4,500 BCE. Oh, I say BC. And it tested positive. So when they revisited and compared the data, they found that it was positive for a mutation that was at the time dated at 600 BC, and it still is. And at the time, I called FTDNA. I spoke about it in some groups, uh, in some forums, and everyone was saying, justifying it, saying no, because you don't understand, because it could be, this, that, the other. All right, and now they made a change. There's an update, right? But the thing about this update is that there's a little bit of funny business going on, because at that time they're saying that fossil, this fossil right here, Pekin 1165, was positive for SNP T-FT13419, which is estimated to have emerged 600 BC, right? It's a huge difference. And I called them and I said that can't be true. Both statements cannot simultaneously be correct. All right. And all the geniuses were, contradicting me, right? Well, understand that SMP is a mutation that is found at a specific location. All right. And I know this because going further back, I had a whole ordeal with FTDNA because based off of my STR values, I predicted myself that I was on a certain branch, and I didn't have Big Y test yet. And they're like, no, well, you can't really go by that. And I was correct. I did an SNP pack, and the new branches that I thought that I belonged on weren't part of that pack. I went to a company called YSEC, and I'm going to show you here screenshots of the test that I did at YSEC. Let me scroll back over here. As you can see here, that's me. This is back in August of 2019, purchasing these kits to test individual mutations. One of them was to test for T-6 T-Y61099, and then T-BY189634, right? And I ended up being correct, as I have in other occasions where I predicted SMPs for other kits, and people have said no. Oh, that can't be. Yeah, that's a long shot. No, I'm right. Anyhow, I did this test at YSEC. This is a screenshot of my profile in YSEC DNA. And as you could see, they tell you what the allele that you're positive for, and they have a link to ISOG website with a chromosome and the location. So when we're talking about an SMP, that is a location on your Y chromosome that has a specific change that you're positive for, and therefore you're on that branch, right? Of course, you could be. It could be that you might not be positive and still be on that branch, because it's a collection of mutations that happen. One could be reversed, but they can say, well, yes, that mutation might be different, but all these other coincidences are ascertain that you are actually on that branch, and at that location, that mutation doesn't appear because it changed back or it changed into something else. But you have all these other mutations subsequent to that one, and so you're on that branch. All right. Anyhow, they said that Pekin 1165 was positive for that SMP T-FT13419. That was official, the official word. That fossil at that location on the Y chromosome had that mutation. Well, now that disappeared. That was a contradiction. It ain't right. And, here's a new one. Now they're saying this is a new update that I discovered today because I started looking on the tree. Now, Pekin, or 1165, is no longer positive for that mutation. It's positive for a different mutation, T-FT13840. But guess what? It's still a contradiction. They were able to push it back a little further, right? My argument has always been these branches are not as old as they say they are. And that carbon dating that they did is wrong. But now they have this sitting at, I think it's exactly listed as 1950 BC, which is still a huge difference to what the carbon dating is of 4500 BC. But what's important to see here is how they just changed it. Is that right? Like, you could do that? Are there no, is that good documentation practice? Something is wrong here. They did something funny. There's a funny business here. Anyhow, that's what I wanted to give that little quick update. But of course, no one will say nothing. They don't have anyone to answer to. No one's asking any questions for them to answer to anybody. And anyhow, that's just part of the secrecy and DNA testing in Israel. Maybe not the people, but definitely archaeological sites you know, and fossils that are uncovered that are never tested, or, you know, uh, the bones that were found at Qumran in the caves where the Dead Sea Scrolls were, you know, so many opportunities, you know, and so much secrecy, and I don't know why. Anyhow, just wanted to get that off my chest real quick. Uh, you know, if anybody cares. All right. Have a nice evening.